let's get to the Universal title match.
This is a bittersweet scenario. In many ways, more bitter.
Now, in one word or less, who do you side with in this ongoing debate? The fans or the E? One word. Say fans or E. Gun to your head. Who are you siding with?
By a cunt hair, the E. By a hair.
Okay.
By a hair, and I'll tell you why. Who do you side with here?
I side with the fans.
Okay. So what you're referring to is that they unveiled the new Universal Championship, and it's essentially, well, it is the same exact design as the WWE World Championship, which if you didn't know that was coming, then you're stupid, because that was obvious that was coming, right?
I mean, it was one of those situations where I think the fans predicted it as this is probably what's going to happen, followed by, man, I really hope this isn't what happens.
Right. I'm pretty sure we all knew it was going to be that same look with a different color scheme. From what I saw, and a grain of salt, sheets, that this was an insider showing on some, Reddit thing or whatever, that it was literally just going to be still the black strap, but just the background was going to be red, like behind the logo.
Okay.
With the black swoosh, which was the leaked design that I had saw a couple weeks ago, right? So that's why it didn't surprise me. But it was an argument up till the last moment if they were going with the full red strap or just the red behind it. So they lost out on that argument, I guess.
All right.
Whoever was pushing for the red strap, I don't know. Either way, does it look stupid with the all red strap? Sure. It's not the first time that they haven't had an all color, like Ultimate Warrior's title was like yellow and white and shit, So I don't really find it such a big deal. It looked silly from the get-go, but like the fans chanted about how stupid the title looked for half of that title match, and I think it took away from it. Seth tweeted about it. He didn't appreciate it. And I don't blame him, It's kind of like, sure, it's funny to make a little noise about it for a minute, but then move on. The match is more important.
All right. So here's how I fall on this one. They insult our intelligence constantly in pro wrestling, but in this case particular, they tell us, okay, these two different shows are going to have different feels. They're going to be run differently. It's going to be different. They're going to be distinct. It's not going to be just a carbon copy of one and the other, and there's superstars here and there's superstars there. And you unveil a carbon fucking copy of the other title with a, and when you throw in things like, well, this is the Universal title, it's, like, you kind of start getting expectations in your head. Like, I want to see shiny Milky Way stars all over the fucking thing, or a nebula or something.
Well, I mean, you didn't really expect that.
I did. But so you pull the whatever, the curtain, the drape off of this thing, the cowl. You show it to the fans, and you know what? You showed, for the first time, you unveiled the title right before the title match. This title technically has zero prestige, it has zero lineage, and this is the title, quote-unquote, that two wrestlers are fighting for. You show it right before these guys are wrestling for it. And this is a business where the title, the actual belt, is part of the entertainment. So the last time we got a really, really ugly title belt, and I'm talking about the spinner, we thought it was just a temporary thing that Cena would have, and when he lost the title, it would go back to the other one, and that didn't happen. And probably a lot of people were like, wow, we should have killed this thing as soon as it popped its head up. So this is now the fans' prime chance to voice their disapproval of the title right there where it's happening. Unfortunately, you put a match directly after that. Too bad. You should have spaced it out. You could have debuted it on the pre-show. You did it right before the match.
I mean, do you think that it would have been better for them to debut it on the Go Home Raw?
Think about this. The women's title, they debuted it during the pre-show of WrestleMania and then had the match for later on in the night. So this is the like.
Yeah, but that was a good idea because that wasn't just.
I'm saying that's a good idea.
I mean the look of the title, because it wasn't. It didn't pop in your head, oh, it's lazy, they're using the same title.
Oh, no,
their initial thought was, oh, it's just like the men's title.
Listen, that's okay, but if the fans, let's say, disapproved for whatever reason, it would happen, and it would be pretty much out of their system before, like, long before the match happens. But they debuted this title right before the match, so
I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get that for sure.
So the fans are reacting to it, you know, and that's when, like, and to say, like, well, you know, there's a match going on, it's disrespectful. It's like, listen, if I'm driving to my wedding and I somehow, or let's say I'm standing on the sidewalk and I get splashed, my tuxedo is covered in mud, and now I'm kind of upset because I have to get married covered in mud, and people start saying, like, you know, it's disrespectful. More important than how you're dressed or what you're wearing is the actual wedding and the ceremony with the people. It's like, no, this just happened. I'm going to be upset about it. Like this has tarnished things a little bit.
Fine, like, a little different. Like, I'm not saying I don't understand it. I get it. Believe me. That's why I was like, wow, this is really stupid, because why would they do this right now? And I was with it for a couple minutes, but when it kept going on, I'm just like, okay, well, there's a good match happening here.
And then, you know what? Herein lies the other thing. The fans did it for the boring portion of the match, where there's a bunch of headlocks, chinlocks, and rest holds in general. There wasn't a lot of high-octane, you know, kicked into higher gear action.
I beg to differ that things were, you know, going pretty, like, not the very slow part, but towards the middle meat of the match, and they were still chanting about it, where, you know, they're chanting about the belt, and we pop for the God's last gift, which Seth Rollins did his old finish when he was Tyler Black, and he hadn't done it yet in WWE, at least not on the main roster. And that was exciting, but people are chanting about the stupid belt all the time.
But you know what? And then it stopped, and then the second half of the match was uninterrupted with that kind of stuff, and you know, like, it happened at the beginning of the match, during the boring part of the match. The fans needed to get it out of the system. They did. We voiced our disapproval. It was fun. You know, the fans are allowed to not like something, and to try to strong-arm the fans and say, well, you're only allowed to not like something for a few minutes, but then you have to stop because it's disrespectful. It's like, no. Like, the fans feel disrespected by being patronized with that bullshit title.
It's not, well, I have a lot to say that. It's not like being strong-armed. It's kind of like, it's in how you phrase it. I would say, use a little sense. I know you're upset about that, but, like, for me, I didn't chant any of that bullshit because I cared about watching the match, and I'm a fan. So that's my view. The title itself, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all, because this is that day and age of the WWE. It's the bland, homogenized, dumbed down. Everything is easy to swallow and easy to digest. Whether it's, I always go back to the simple, instant gratification nature of the youth today, and their affinity for, like, wanting to cater to youth in general. So you have, here is a simple design of our logo. This one's blue. This one's red for the red show. Everything blue on the blue show. Everything red over here. Everything's easy to digest and understand.
Oh, yeah. So Finn Balor won the title, but...
Which I thought would happen. And he won completely clean. And this guy's getting the rocket boost. But apparently and yet again with this buckle bomb shit, the buckle bomb to the barricade dislocated Finn Balor's shoulder, to which he popped back in. And that happened early in the match. He popped it back in, wrestled the whole match amazingly, had no idea he was hurt. And then that night, there's a picture of him in a sling. Everybody loses their mind, and sure enough, the next day, Monday Night Raw, he gives up the title.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. It really just...
You know what? This title is off to a really shitty start, because from the moment of its announcing... Daniel Bryan pretty much buried the f***ing thing, and then they unveil it, the crowd buries the f***ing thing, then they crown a new champion, he relinquishes because he's injured. Well,
Yeah, and even on a small note, there is a small group of people out there that are like, Finn Balor, he came out of nowhere, he's getting a push, that
backlash.
Shawn Michaels Spurge.
That backlash has started, and listen... For anybody that was listening to Doing the Job, for a while now, you might remember when Daniel Bryan lost the match at Fastlane last year to Roman Reigns, and the winner of that match was going to go on to WrestleMania for the title shot against Lesnar. Everybody was arguing with one another on semantics, like why one person deserved to win over the other, and how anybody that argued one was wrong, and here's why. And I just took a step back and I said, listen, this is about emotion. If I'm supposed to be watching Fastlane and I'm supposed to be happy that Roman Reigns won the match and is going to WrestleMania to fight Brock Lesnar, then WWE failed because I feel sad. I feel sad for Daniel Bryan after watching that, not happy for Roman Reigns. That's all there is to that. That's all anybody who watches it needs to say. There needs to be no logical explanation as to why that's the case. So, once again, here we are. If the crowd just likes Finn Balor and people disliked Roman Reigns for whatever reason, however they want to verbalize it, however they want to adapt their emotions into language, it's just the way it is. The crowd just accepted one guy and rejected the other, and there needs to be no explanation as for why that's happening.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Although he
put that on YouTube, Denny.